We have done it from 8 centers, and across the board we have an incidence of about 8.88% of thyroids. 3.5% approximately was undetected, and about 7.5% was actually a low incidence of this, in basically a preclinical stage. And what we found was there's a high degree of autoimmune problems. Basically, the TPO antigens were positive, which means there's an autoimmune type of thyroiditis, basically, in about 23.7%, which is almost next to Chennai and Kolkata, which were at about 25.5%. So it's a very high rate of autoimmune stages of the disease, which these patients can ultimately become hypothyroid over a prolonged period of time. So they need to be continuously evaluated. And there should be an increasing awareness. About 3 times more women in Hyderabad than men were detected to be hypothyroid. More in the age group of between late 30s to mid 50s, basically. It's between the 40 and 50-year age group, you'll find it more. And this is basically due to various multifactorial. It is basically because of a lot of factors that can cause hypothyroidism, among which the autoimmune process is the most important. Basically, the antibodies, anti-thyroid antibodies are present in high titers, which does not allow the gland to function normally. Thus, the gland will be producing less than optimal amounts of hormones, which results in a hypothyroid state. And very often this is manifested by symptoms like loss of sleep, dry skin, loss of hair, puffiness, mild increase in weight, so sleep disorders, depression, so many things like this. There are multifactorial, but very often this is not detected because many other diseases also have these symptoms. So there's a lot of overlap about these symptoms in other disease states. So it's very difficult for a physician to unless you look for thyroid or hypothyroid function, unless you do a biochemical test. A simple screening test will be a TSH, which is not very expensive. It costs only about 200 rupees. That will point you in the direction. It's very easy to. It can be done very quickly in a day's time. In the morning, if you go TSH level, by evening you should get the result. It's not very expensive. That will be a good screening test to see. And if it is there present, then of course you do the free thyroid FT3, FT4, TSH levels, and also the thyroid antibodies, the TPOs. Government sponsored or a health awareness program until recently, and because we did not have any sort of data, nobody knew what was the prevalence of these diseases in anywhere. So this is the first study that has been done in India, so that we have some reliable data based on which we can generate an awareness program. And the health agencies and the health ministries of different states, different places can be involved in this. Now, if it is prevalent in these cities at this percentage level, what more will be there in rural areas? So this is only the beginning of a study where we will increase the awareness both among the general public as well as primary care physicians and general practitioner doctors to see that there is more awareness about this. No, very often, see, what happens is nobody would like to go for a blood test. You ask a patient to go for a blood test, he feels, why do you want to do it? And very often what happens is hypothyroid does not give you so many symptoms until it reaches a certain level. A quite significant percentage of patients may be totally asymptomatic. So if you ask an asymptomatic person to undergo a blood test, they will ask, so what is it? So unless there's awareness that these kind of things exist and it can cause these kind of problems, especially more among ladies in the reproductive stage, so it's best to conduct them like that. Unless you create an awareness, it should be both among the public as well as among the primary care people. Whenever you feel any symptom, if not, slight increase in weight, disturbances in sleep, dry skin, feeling cold, low heart rate, you feel depressed or something like that, check a routine blood test at least once a year. Do a TSH level, which is not very costly. It's only about 200 rupees. Right? We spend so much money on so many other things.